Hey guys, welcome to here of course, and today we're discussing the Tiger'59. Now, let's dive right into the modules. So first off, I recommend aiming systems, mostly for that 7% dispersion in the main battery. 18 guns mod could work for the 20% more firing range, depending if you like HCVs or not. And main battery mod is actually probably detrimental because the turret verse is excellent, and it's one of its main strengths actually. Second module here, definitely steering gears, damage control is really not really needed because of it has super heal, which we'll discuss a bit later. And third module, definitely concealment mod. I think steering gears is the alternative, but I really think concealment is much better for this ship. In terms of commander, I think the best commander you can pick is Belfast with her base trait, reducing smoke firing penalty, at least for me, down to 4.5. Beyond range gives you a lot more options. Pierce Sitter is also good, but I think beyond range gives you a lot more options, a lot more avenues to get damage in. And overall, yeah, pretty much. Smoke screen ability, her is actually really bad. Losing a smoke charge is awful. Full speed ahead is what makes Belfast great for this pick, because our maximum screws speed +5, it's very slow, and a 10% rudder shift buff is nice. Punch through is just a straight 8% damage buff with a 5% penetration multiplier, with fixated improving your accuracy, which is needed, and refill station, which is buffing your reload. You could go by the book, but more for a division by the book is probably better. The reason you're doing punch through and the inspiration here, by the way, Mikhail for stealth helps out every cruiser, especially this one, and Yamamoto for additional pen. Improving your pen means instead of getting a shatter, you get a pen or even an over pen, which is only like a short fuse British AP, but still the options there. Now, in terms of the armor scheme, guys, very important to know this, guys. It's really actually a really tanky ship. 25mm bow and stern, very good, bouncing 14-inch guns and below, which means you'll bounce every cruiser out there, and you'll bounce some battleships. There's quite a few at tier 6 that only have 14-inch guns, so that is something to note. So take that off for now. Superstructure, farmable, but again, you've got a super heal that heals for 13k. That is in your roster there, so just be aware of that. Your barbettes are actually quite weak, 25mm, which is a bit interesting there. So you could possibly be Citadel from the side, but this is barbette turrets, which are completely circular, which means they're additional sloped armor, so their effective is probably much higher. So you're not going to get, it's still tanky, and you're still going to lose some turrets occasionally, but they're relatively tough little buggers, that's definitely sure. So, taking a look at the deck armor, the auxiliary room, it's actually top part is 27, so that means from long range you can bounce 15-inch guns. That is 100% true. And again, taking off the Citadel, you've also got some red armor there, which is basically 76 plus. Yeah, so you can bounce anything you want on that one, even Yamato. Obviously, it's not going to bounce off the 25 sides, but you do have your Citadel, which is, yes, above the waterline, but typical British standard. You can also use that to bounce shells as well. You've got armor belt, you've got 27mm deck, you've got 25 all round, which is really generally quite tanky, especially when you're fighting other cruisers. You heal for 13k, that is 13k if you use it right. You've got 2 smokes, perfect, and you've got the Belfast radar 8.5 for 25 seconds. Fast reload, yes, you've only got 2 guns, or 4 guns, but these turret traverse is really good. It's the alternative commander, by the way. Obviously, a free commander, Bruce Fraser. Same sort of build, except before it's too late is the option there, and you can run fully packed for additional heal, smoke, or radar. Which is, again, if Belfast had fully packed, she would probably be the best commander for the British. But torpedo range is very nice, so you don't have to pay before it's too late. Will help you. Sorry, but Tenant's also a good pick for this. I don't really use Tenant that much. If he was more of a training wheel commander, but hey, if he works for you and gets results for you, by all means, go for it. You know, that's roughly a build I would pick with basically the inspirations Mikawa and probably Yamamoto again, because you only have AP. You should buff it. Now, people fall into this trap of using Reginald, and I don't think he does anything for you. All he does is give you an extra smoke, 2 smokes, sorry, and a bit more concealment. I honestly don't think it'll work, because he doesn't buff any of your ship skills. He doesn't buff AP damage. You're losing out on like 8% pen or 10%, plus you're missing out on accuracy, so you're missing out on like approximately like 15 to 20% of your damage. You know, you've got punch through that gives you a multiplier, to your pen and an 8% damage buff total. You're missing out on 4% dispersion and grouping. Yeah, it's not worth it, really isn't. So, guys, into the battle here. We did showcase the Tiger on our stream as well, and you guys, if you really you want to get more and more into the Tiger, it's pretty fun. This is I quite enjoyed everything. The big about the Tiger that really sets it apart from the other tier 6 British cruisers is its turret traverse. Really, because the Fiji's got more guns, 100%. Fiji's actually got more DPM, 100%. But the Fiji has a 25-second turret traverse, which is quite bad, quite glacial. This thing's about 2.5 seconds or something stupid like that. Something 2.5 to 3 second turret traverse. It turns like that. You can hear that in the microphone. Yeah. So incredibly quick in turret traverse, which means you can swap targets in the drop of a hat, which is something the Fiji was never able to do. The Minotaur can do that, and that's one of the things that makes the Minotaur good. Its fire rate, its number of guns, and the fact that it can almost punish anything, even any angle, as long as you aim high enough or you hit the relevant targets. So I can start, dacking down the Tennessee, and yes, at long range the shells are really floaty, so you need to get used to that. If you've been playing Minotaur or Friesland, this is a very similar boat. This is basically a supersized Friesland. It's got 4 guns. It's got a smoke screen instead of sonar. It's got radar. It's really great for killing DDs. You'll probably beat any DD you'll face. It doesn't have torpedoes. The similarities of it becoming a Friesland are very similar. It's like a Friesland and a Mino had a baby with a Belfast, something like that, some sort of complicated family setup that the Tiger had, with those 3 ships. But you can swap targets like that. You see, if I was shooting the Tennessee, getting some hits, not really much down there, but I could just swap to the Fushing very quickly, and that really gives you a lot of flexibility. And flexibility in a ship is really good for carrying games, because you can fulfill multiple different roles if you need to do it. So we're just happily farming Tennessee. At the minute, there's no need for us to push. We could straight up push that Tennessee like in Edinburgh and just DACA him down, shot by shot, death by 1,000 flames, the white flame of the British AP. And again, the hell, just swap over to the hell. And if I was a Fiji, I would take about 2 to 3 seconds just to turn my guns, and I've got about a 7.5 second reload. So you can see how much you're gaining from this. Another advantage of using this build over, say, let's say a Terwit build, is you're getting more pens. Simple as that. All the shatters you see, if any, at the minute, they're just straight. There we go. There's 1 there. There could be potentially a lot more if you're running a Terwit build. And again, I'm not even using the smoke. It's all about your positioning as a cruiser, and realistically, you don't need the smoke. It's pretty darn tanky as far as cruisers go. And if you're needed to rely on the smoke that much, then it's probably not the best ship for you, honestly. This thing is very good for very competent players in light cruisers. You'll get a lot out of this because you find the right positions to just sit back and just pull out the DACA, because these guns add up. They may only be 4 of them, but it's got a 3 second reload. It definitely adds up. And when you're running things like refill station, it may not seem like much of a buff. Hey, you're only gaining like 0.2 of a second or something. You gotta remember, think of it in percentage terms. You're gaining a 5% reload, you're gaining, an overall percentage gain. If you're adding how many shots you can fire a game, and you're taking off that value, it's going to add up, because a second passes very quickly, or 3 seconds in this case, passes very quickly over the course of a battle. If you're reducing that, it's a substantial increase. It really is. So do the math if you're really unsure, but it's quite a substantial increase. You're just running refill station, taking it down from like 3.5 to 3, because it's about 25% buff into your overall DPM, It certainly adds up. So yeah, again, we're just going to swap over to the Leander because we can. Hey, we might not get much done there, but we're making him turn, we're making him do this, we're making him maneuver somewhat. He might get some hits there, might even get a Citadel. It doesn't really matter, because I can turn my guns easily. It doesn't cause a problem. We've got 2 pens in that thing, guy. Popped our radar to get rid of the Shiratsu because he's been causing a bit of an effort for it, a bit of harassment for our team. Got to be aware we've only got an 8.5 kilometer radar, so we can't get too, can't just pop it willy-nilly. And with my build, you got to be very sparing of your radars. You've only got 2 of them, so this is the 1 out of 2 charges. The Shiratsu is doing exactly the right thing. He's running away. He's doing his best to keep a small profile. These guns are not laser beams. They are quite floaty. That's typical of British AP floaty shells. And at the minute, we've got the caps. We don't have the cap points lead, but I think it's best for me to try and chase this guy a little bit, but not too much overinvest. So we're going to turn away here just to try and get all these guns going. And if we get rid of him, he's one of the 2 DDs in the game, and destroyers are very high influence in this game, so we're just really going to try and get what we can out of this Shiratsu. This is a CV game indeed, but I still think it's worth it. DDs still have that element of control over the battlefield, or the match, shall you say. So yeah, we're just going to do what we can to him, because I don't want to get rid of I don't want the Shiratsu to come behind our team and just cause absolute mayhem. Now he's doing a great job dodging, and maybe I'm doing the worst job aiming, but at the end of the day, it's not easy to hit these shells, and they are very floaty. Again, it's just typical of shells, low caliber shells of this nature. It's in the Worcester, it's in the Mino, what do you call it? Something else. Colbert, Friesland. They're all kind of floaty shells, but they fire very quickly, so that's kind of like the reasoning behind it. Now, obviously we don't have a radar here, and I want to keep ourselves somewhat effective in the game though, because I don't want to really take them all out. The CV can spot the Shiratsu for me, and there we go, the CV's doing that, and the Shiratsu spotted up. That's always good. It's fortunately enough for the enemy team, for us, the enemy team did not go for the alpha cap, so it's been very effective for us. Shiratsu's smoked up, which means he can't spot us either until we fire. Now our smoke fire input is really low, so we must be quite close to him. Unfortunately, our radar is only a minute away. It's what? It's a long time, of course, a minute. It's quite a ways to go for there. We're down on points, but no one's contesting or capping A on the enemy team, which is a big misplay there, I must say. But we need to try and get as much as we can done. And again, because we're in the Tiger, we can turn our guns really quickly, and we can take some pot shots at that fishing as well. We can also maybe try and make sure that Iliander does in fact die, because I believe he manages to damage control this and pop a heal. I'm not even sure at this point. Again, Shiratsu takes a pot shot at us at this point, and we can just turn our guns again really quickly, and we can do that what we can. We're going to do again with that skill, flank speed that Belfast gets, even though she's more of a damage based commander. That is very handy, especially in this scenario here. We've got the radar, we could use it. End up, I just want to get rid of him here because I don't know if he's got a real booster. There he was, he actually did. So we're just going to make sure that he's out of the picture. He is. Now, problem with this, chasing that Shiratsu may have been a bad play, but it was better to get rid of him than harass him at the back of the map there. It means it's 2 versus 4. And we've got a Tennessee, 2 battleships, a cruiser, and CV to deal with. So now basically it's just me versus and the DD, versus the world here. We've got to fight them all. They've got a 200 point lead, which means we need to start sinking ships. But fortunately for me, I'm pretty darn healthy, so I can at least afford to tank some. Hopefully there's not any guns with 15-inch guns or above. But even if they are 15-inch guns, we can bounce them using our deck armor from range. Closer up, bit of a problem, but you never know. So we're just going to push ourselves a little bit back into the battlefield here, trying to get ourselves back in that fight and really doing some harass. Now, Helena's chasing down our DD. We need to work on that Helena as soon as possible. Tennessee, though, is just within our firing range. We fire what we can because, again, our turret traverse is really, really good, so we can swap them back and forth. And it may not seem like much. We're doing pea shooters, we're just ducking this guy down. But we are building up the damage. We've already got 5 pens. Every time we've hit, we've only got 2 shatters, and out of all the times we've shot at him here, we're picking up some bounces and shatters. Got the Helena to shoot at, we'll just fire a shot at the Helena, but he's kind of angled. We'll wait for him to do something about it. Really trying to want to get that Tennessee dealt with. Now, Tennessee's only 14-inch guns, so we're just going to turn away and basically bounce or duke everything there. Now, Helena is still causing a problem here, but at the minute, Helena's still heavily angled. He's even got a shot in on the island, but again, I could just turn there, put a little bit of pressure on. Not that it means too much, just I really want to get rid of this Tennessee while that Helena is behind the island. So yeah, getting him down is really essential because the way I'm running away, well, we'll see. I really want to get this Tennessee down. I'm worried that he'll go dark and I'll lose sight of him, and when I'm fighting the Helena, I won't be able to angle get to Tennessee, and that'll literally be a death strike because I'm not careful. Meanwhile, with the Helena, I can 100% angle 100% here. We're giving a bit too much of an angle, to be fair. So we start turning away and getting some early work done. But we need to get rid of the Tennessee because we're stuck in a crossfire. At the minute, we can't get rid of an angled Helena very quickly, but we can work this Tennessee's hell down quite a bit. DD's getting himself spotted left, right, and centre by the CV. He can't really do much about it because, again, it's a CV. But maybe he can deal with it. He's having a tough time with the Tennessee shooting at him, and we just got to do what we can. Now, we could just straight up tank this Helena here because the bow, of course, is 25, but our deck is 27, and the Helena doesn't have the capabilities to pen 27 with his HE, only 25. So he's literally getting some overpens and some just basic, not really much damage. He's just getting much done to our superstructure. And again, we're just going to heal all that, simple as that. Kagero does, as our Gispar, does finish off the Tennessee, which is really great. Gives us the opportunity to really put our work in. Carrier's going for us, which is great because RA is pretty darn good, and we can just try and work down this Helena as much as possible. I really want to hit the stern, sorry. I'm trying to get, what's the nautical term for butt? Yes. Yes, you really want to get down, knock down the stern of this Helena, but he's doing the wiggle, you know, the hippie shake. So we're just going to try and get as much as we can done to getting good solid hits there. Break a gun turret and he's back, that's good. Picking up the damage here. Got a little bounces, man, but yeah, we're doing what we can. Still breaking in gun turrets, that's always good. Got to watch out for them torpedo bottoms following the serve off. Again, pretty darn meaty, these Russian CVs. Got to try and do something about it. We're probably still going to need 1 torp there. Yeah, 1 torp. And that'll do. We 17 seconds till we get the next heal, and look how much we can heal. We can basically print half our ship, because, yeah, pretty much, yeah, I mean, 33k health, we can heal up 13. Pretty much half our ship, give or take a couple thousand. You're basically, you're having that capability for you, which is really good. Helena is still doing the wiggle, and we're, again, Helena's got really surprisingly good armor scheme. We're going to smoke up here because Helena's not really much long for this world. He's already, looks like he was on fire for some reason. Is he on fire? Now, we want to get the smoke here, and we're going to try and disengage from the Helena so we can fight the Serval. Serval is right there though, so it doesn't really matter what the smoke is going to do here. We're just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep attacking the poor Serval down. I mean, it's a Serval, you don't have to feel sorry for it at all. So we can just Citadel it and just kill that thing, and there we go. So with that, we have the points lead, and basically all that needs to happen is the destroyer needs to not die. Myself included, of course, but again, this thing's pretty tanky. I couldn't avoid those 2, but I had a heal, I had a damage control ready, and my cruiser after all. We picked up the high caliber, we picked up the Confederate, by the way, and we shot down a fair decent amount of planes as well. And we basically just tanked that entire 4-man ship group, with the exception of the Fuso, I believe. But again, we could tank the Fuso if we wanted to, for the Gaspar. And the Gaspar just landed like 1 or 2 torps on the Tennessee, which we could have worked on if the Gaspar did not do that. Probably could have picked up our 4th kill, but this time we're not going to have enough time to kill the Gaspar, and it's better that he just stays alive, because if he dies, we lose the game. So I'd rather not risk it, so I just tell him to get back. Initial thoughts were, oh, let's go hunt the Fuso, but no, honestly not. game could have been a little bit different if the enemy team did capture A, but then again, you know, it's up to the DD to basically do a YOLO run, and that would have done the job, you know. So, you know, interesting game. I thought we're just gonna get a little bit, you know, see if we can even get a hit on them. You gotta lock your target in. It's not easy to hit with these shells. That's something you need to. It's obviously an acquired taste with the Mino, Tor, Worcester, and that sort of slow shell arcs. So guys, 107k, basically 3k. Hope you enjoyed and hope this helps you guys out in your decision whether to get the Tiger or not. Hope you have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.